Warmest greetings of the day to all the people watching us. I hope you all are doing amazingly well today. And first of all, thank you so much for joining us to celebrate the International Day of the Girl's Child. Today's this year's theme for the topic is My Voice, Our Equal Future. So let's begin.
Thank you so much for joining here today. As Siddhi mentioned, we're here for a series known as Girls Peace Talk. And here on the platform, we'll be having various members focusing on girls in the society, mainly, I guess, peace ambassadors of the Global Peace Institute London, who's hosting the entire thing. So this will be kind of like an informal conversation on how women view themselves in the society, what kind of problems are they facing, how did they tackle through them, and what can we do to further improve their situation in the society. And that will be in kind of like an informal way, not a formal one. This is mainly to encourage the youth and primarily the girls out there to voice their opinions and to come out and talk about their problems so that they can either voice the solutions or can have help from the other people and to improve their situations in the society. And this is also mainly to voice out our opinions in the policy making of the countries, because we are the future citizens of the country. So we'd like to have contribute a bit to the policy making that will shape the future society in which we're going to live. So I guess we'll start with the introductions. Siddhi, do you want to go ahead?
Right. So I am Siddhi Joshi. I'm from the land of diversity, India. I'm a teen and youth ambassador for the Global Peace Institute, and I'm so excited to be here today.
I'm Shreya Chawla. I'm from the same country, India, and I am also a teen and a youth peace ambassador of the Global Peace Institute. I've attended the Global Youth Peace Ambassador training in Maldives, and I've also received the World Children Peace Prize, but I mainly see myself as the messenger of hope, peace in the society. And with that, let us move ahead with today's series.
Right. So, being a girl child, what does it mean in today's scenario is the main discussion we want to focus upon, who are we and what do we need? What are the things that matter to us? How are our opinions formed and what influences us? What are the things that we want to influence? So, Shreya, I would like to know about how is it, being a girl in your family, in your society, in your community? How has it influenced or affected your upbringing, and what has it been like?
I think I'm fortunate enough to say that the problems that usually girls face in the society, I have not faced them in my family. I am a single child and I'm a girl of my parents. My mother were like two sisters, and their family as well, they're having girls, mainly girls. There were two sisters, no brothers. So hereditary, like it is in the family only that the girls usually don't face any discrimination or any kind of. And I'm fortunate enough that my parents have supported my education fully and provided me with a range of opportunities, and it is only because of their support and their encouragement that I am worthy enough to be here and share my opinions and views with all of you today. And I guess I'm thankful that I'm fortunate enough to say that, but I'd also like to help those that are out there who are facing some kind of problems so that I can help improve their situations as well.
Right. I mean, I can relate to you in this sense because even I come from a place of privilege, when it comes to being a girl child, because in my society, there are problems like female feticide. There are problems where girls are not encouraged to pursue their dreams. They're encouraged to instead get married at a very young age. So privilege, it's not always about what you have, sometimes it's also about the things that you didn't have to go through just because you're coming from a place of privilege. So my parents, my family, they have always encouraged me to be this young woman with opinions, who is standing for the values that matters to herself. I have a little sister, so we are two girls in our family, and our family has lots of goals too, So I think it is because we have always been in an urban region of our country. So we do not face this sort of problems. But if I really think about it, somewhere in subtle manners, there are things still prevalent. There's still things that you still face because you are a girl, be it in forms of, oh, come home early before it gets dark, or if it's in a manner of maybe don't wear certain kind of clothes and things like that, because somewhere the parents, they want us to be more safe, they want us to be secured because they know the dangers that lie ahead, because in a way they cannot at least trust our judicial system, or they cannot trust the society we live in that sort of ways. So for instance, when I won a scholarship from Department of State and wanted to go for my exchange year, I had to wait for like a year and a half to actually convince my parents to let me be there, so that I can be there for 1 year and do the things that I wanted to do. And I had always been passionate about, wanting to be on an exchange, but it was so hard to convince my parents to, let me do that. Well, thankfully, eventually they agreed, and, we agreed to have a logical discussion about the pros and cons of the whole thing, and what are the advantages it would have and what are the disadvantages and everything like that. So they were like, take care of this and take care of that. And, like they were like, okay, like it's a good opportunity. We'll let you go. Just be safe. Take care of yourself. So for our family, like we have always encouraged education and things like that. But of course, we always come forward in a manner where we are discussing, and we are always onto, like, we sure have rough times, right? We have good times, we have bad times, but it's all about valuing our opinions, like opinions of one another, and like moving ahead. And my parents have also believed in always like raising up strong goals, for like, for instance, like my sister joined this taekwondo program, so that she could learn self-defense and things like that. So I think, the whole idea is like, even in urban places, you are going to face things just because you are a girl and your parents want you to be safe, basically. But you can move ahead, you can navigate ahead by discussing, the whole thing, and basically moving forward together. And of course, for me, I have always been passionate about when it comes to like talking about peace, when it comes to being a part of the community service programs, and being a part of conversations, and actually helping people, to be in a better place and work on a social level, so that I can extend my privilege to the ones who are unprivileged and things like that. And I'm only hoping that I can work more in this field in near future. So, uh, like I remember, like you wanting to do the same, and I think it is so amazing that like we as girls who have like have always seen the ample of opportunities and things like that, we want to extend it to the other people as well. So how, like, what do you think, influenced you to be someone who believes in peace? Like, why do you believe in peace, or why do you believe in giving back to the society? What has inspired you to do the same?
Thank you so much for the question. I think since I've been young, my parents have always supported my participation at various competitions, at various platforms. So, like when you're very young, you're very impressionable. So, since that age only, I've been into competitions. I've spoken about things like women equality, justice, rape, and everything. So, it's kind of like when you're that impressionable, it goes into your bloods, and it's something that is inside. That's a part of, a very core part of you. And like it's like you'll be something else, and you'll not be complete without those set of values that you have been given by your parents. So that's basically my case. I have seen people empowering, like I've actually witnessed people empowering women and supporting them, and that was very encouraging for me. And like I went to this legal literacy campaign where I surveyed the rural belts around Chandigarh, and we went there and we told people about, like it was door to door campaign. So we told them about that. Yes, there are free legal services around you that you can attain. And like from that, it was like an exposure to me to the real world, because right now I was confined to the walls of my school and halls, competition halls. But when I went out there, I saw what the real reality was. And when I talked to the younger children who were working in shops, or I talked to women who were sitting out in the streets selling vegetables, and like we told them that, you know what, if your husband is beating you, or you're facing any kind of violence or harassment at your social level, personal level, you can go to these organizations and you can actually ask them for help, and they'll help you for free to have access to your rights as a human, as a young woman. And they were like, while some of them were so happy, like they were shouting across streets to their homes that, you know what, did you listen to that girl? She just told me that I can have access to my rights without any cost. So you better take care. And from next time, you cannot beat me up. And I was like, that gave me so much happiness, because just that one informal dialogue with a lady, that yes, just a few walks away there's this building where you can go and all of your problems will be solved. She was so happy that she actually declared on the street to her husband that you cannot do anything to me now, I am empowered. And that was like
Right.
so fulfilling for me. And I felt that yes, that is what my mission is in my life, improving people, not just on a global level but at a local level, because that is where change starts. Like India is one of the countries which is having so many laws, like there are so many laws on women rights, but when we see on a practical level, the implementation is not that good. That is why they're saying that India is not one of the safest places for women, even though we are having most number of laws here. So that is where the problem is. The problem is not at a national level or a global level, but the problem is at the social level, and that is what we should primarily be focusing upon.
Right, I agree. And I love this whole incident, informal incident that inspired you to take up for this cause,
It
like
was
in
life
my own
changing.
family. So, like in my own family, the reason I had always been a person who believed in altruism is because my mom always told me, that even an ant can feed its own self, right? So when you are a human, you are blessed to be in a place where you can influence the life of others in a positive manner. So when a tiny animal can do the work of feeding itself, looking after its family and things like that, then like being a human, you are like in a position where you can do so much more and not just cater to your own self. So this is what basically inspired me, to always be out there, for my friends. And obviously, like as a kid, it was in the smallest of ways, because when we talk about peace and like reducing the poverty and like tackling the global hunger, we forget that these big values and these big problems are but simple forms of smaller values that we learn as an individuals at like a local level, at a family level, at like, so it's basically
Exactly.
influenced by our environment, so
Yes.
let's say like we are learning about how to be kind and compassionate and caring. And if we are like our parents are teaching us how to look at the world as a one place, how we say in India that the guests are our gods and the whole world is one
Yes.
place, so such teachings and such learnings that a child can attain definitely go a long way. So for me,
Yes.
the thing was that I realized at some point that, okay, like awareness is important. Awareness is so important because that is when you will give these people voice, So it's not like you need to strengthen the women. It's not like you need to empower them or anything, It's all there, You just basically need to give them the platform. You need to give them opportunities. You need to tell them that, okay, there is this world out there that you really don't know about, and you can go out there, find your own self, make a difference. They already have their voices. We just basically need to amplify them. So what
Exactly. Like the technology at its advent and the way it is expanding, the awareness campaigns are at such a huge level, and they're not only at the global level, but they're reaching the ears of women at a very local level as well. And like I can
right.
see examples in my everyday lives, like a friend of mine, she's she's one of the three sisters in her family. There are three children, all of them are three sisters, and their father is in the corps, and he's at the home making the food and feeding them, while their mother is in the army, who is like in another state in Jammu and Kashmir. She is in Jammu and Kashmir, and she's fighting on the border as an army personnel, while their father is in the police and he's at the home cooking for them. So that was
And
a
that is like,
personal anecdote, and I was like, wow, that is so
right.
cool.
It's
And we
so
need to tell
inspirational,
women about
because,
these things more,
right.
that
And,
this
we have,
happens.
yeah. So, like, we have come to associate gender with certain roles and everything, but when at a very, like, a very personal level, we are witnessing that change is happening, that, okay, like, we are
Yes.
looking at our fathers helping our mothers, we realize that, okay, like as much as you need to appreciate it, you need to realize that this is like a normal thing, like, be it a boy or a girl, they need to
Yes.
learn how to fend for themselves. They need to learn the life skills. They need to know how to do the laundry. They need to know, like, how to make some basic food, so that when they're going away to study and things like that, they can fend for themselves. So when I think
Exactly.
about,
That is
good,
why we are here. That in this Girl Child Day is not something special. It should the situation should not be that we need to have a single day to value the girls in our society. That should be something that should be done every day, and there should be
right.
nothing special
Mhm.
about it. That's okay. That's normal.
That's
Like,
right.
what's the
Like,
big thing?
on this day, we need to remember the people, who have, like, sacrificed their own lives, who have, like,
Yes.
advocated so much for us, so that we are here today, speaking on this platform, even, because the thing is, we don't stand our own selves, but on shoulders of those who have come before us. So today is the day we need to remember those sacrifices and celebrate those fierce women, the strong women who have enabled us, that today, after years, that they have already left the world, we are here today, and we are in a much privileged manner. And so it is our duty in that sense, to extend this privilege, to extend these opportunities to others. So today, we also need to, like, remember a side that is contrary to this. We need to remember how things like rape culture still exist in many of the countries around the world. We need to remember the
Yes.
girls, that have been
I
failed by our
completely.
justice system, so that we know that, okay, we have come this far, but we still have a long, long way to go.
I
So for
completely
me,
agree. And the way we can be grateful to those pioneers of change who have made us capable of standing here today is by taking their actions ahead and actually making them successful and turning their dreams into a reality. Like, if it wouldn't have been of those women, would not have been in a situation to come out and talk about our problems, because earlier there was a time when women were even afraid to use the word I, and in each sentence they used to refer to themselves as we, because they put their children and family first, and that is a very good thing. But that should be out of love and kindness and not out of fear. And if it wasn't for those pioneers of change, those leaders, the society would not have experienced such a change. And I feel the only way that we can present our gratitude to them is by taking their actions forward and turning their goals and aims into a reality, so that when they look back upon earth, like, they're like happy that yes, my
uh,
actions have made a difference.
so I would want to share with you, incident, which was like, when you talked about the positive incident that really influenced your life. And there was this woman who was like, okay, like, I am strong. And she realized, the strength she carried within all along. And she was like, you cannot do me any harm and things like that. So
Yeah.
it reminded me of a very negative sort of incident in my own life, that made me realize that how we need to make more personal actions. And like, just advocating isn't enough, just funding isn't enough. We need to actually, how we say, teach one, that sort of thing. Like, we need to make it our personal motive, our personal goal, to actually reach out to someone and make their world a better place, like, make their own little world a better place. So the incident was like this. So our school selected some of the few kids on a voluntary basis, to basically reach out to one of the families, because even in urban areas, there is a lot of poverty and things like that. So it is very obvious to, when you're walking across the main roads and everything, it's very common to find some unprivileged families who are living on temporary shelters and things like that. And often, there are the people who are working as maids and like, as laborers or temporary servants and things like that. So our job was to go to those houses and talk to one of the parents and to bring one of their like girls or boy, like because it was about education basically. So to basically ask them to come to your home every day, or to like vice versa, to like visit there every day and do the same, and to basically teach them the basics, because literacy, if you really see, it doesn't mean that okay, like you have done your grade 10 or you have graduated from the high school and things like that. It's really about being able to write and doing the basic math and things like that. So what happened was, me and my mom, in order to work for this project, ended up going to this shelter that was next to a park. And we tried to convince the mom of these two girls. One of the girls was named Rekha. I still remember. I was in grade 9 back then, I guess. So we tried to convince the mother, so like, let your girls study, and when they study, they'll be empowered. Like, no need to like marry them, no need to not send them to school or whatever. Like, send them to us. Like, we'll do all of this. We'll give them the materials, we'll give them the stationery, the books, and everything. Like, all they need to do is come there. So it was hard to convince at first, because when you see, like, when you talk to these people, their world is so different. They cannot connect to you. They're coming from broken families. All they want is quick money, quick gratification, and things like that. So we were very happy that, okay, like, she's convinced or whatever. And the next day, surprisingly, she actually came at the time we decided, like, both the girls and everything. And then, like, eventually they stopped coming. Like, in literally, like, after 2 days, they never came. And we tried to like track them down. We tried to like visit them again and talk to their parents again and whatever. But like, they were not convinced to send their girls to us. We provided them meals, and we provided them the stationaries, the books, and everything. But like, somewhere, something within them was broken. I don't know if they didn't believe in the system. I don't know if they just believed in marrying of these girls at a very early age, so as to secure their future and things like that. We really don't know what it was, but I realized that day that funding, the resources, the advocacy isn't enough. Like, somewhere we need to take the matters in our own hands and make personal efforts. If you really want things to get better, if you really want to make a change, we need to look after these things, because we need to connect with them, because there is a gap between where we are at and where they are at. So we need to bridge this gap through our own personal actions. So
it's like two different worlds right now. Because I feel that the Indian society is, I should not say this as an Indian, but we're a bit hypocrite about our views. Because if we see the male people, they're very happy to see Priyanka Chopra or Deepika Padukone going on global levels and representing women's strength. But when it comes to preferring, that this is an actual survey, like when it comes to preferring a male boss or a female boss, they always tend to prefer male boss over a female one. And that is a very harsh reality, that even though people are coming out, women are coming out, people are not preferring them taking the positions of the leaders in organizations. And the story that you talked about was actually really, really heartbreaking, because they are like two separate worlds. Priyanka Chopra and Deepika Padukone are of their own world, and they are of their own world. And people believe that it is a waste, that it is the investing in the education of girls is total waste, because in the end they'll end up marrying a person. So that is the basic ideology that we need to change. And I believe that only women can inspire women. And the way that right now women are breaking the stereotypes of the society, like coming out with their own individual selves, or like wearing what they want to in the society, that is actually encouraging other women to follow their own views and make their own path in a society that tells them what to do. So that is, I think, the major thing. And also things like songs and movies, they are also playing a huge role in doing so, like songs like Roar by Katy Perry or Kings and queens, that emphasis on why a lady does not need a man in her life. She is a queen and she can do whatever she wants without any support by anyone else in her life. These kind of things, or the movie Padmavat or other kind of things, these are things that are actually
Yeah, like
inspiring
even the
social
fact like
change.
now we are
It's
having
not
the
a direct
realistic movies.
yeah, it's not a direct impact, but it is something that is like helping the idea get into the veins of the people at a very minute level. You cannot see it directly, but it is affecting a lot of change, I believe. And I think we should encourage more of these things, and we should
Right.
encourage other women to share their stories so that other people can be inspired to see the change in the society.
And like there is an ongoing movement in countries like Bangladesh, India, and Pakistan against like this prominent rape culture and things like that. So when
Yes.
people at such a mass scale are coming together advocating for a cause, it's bound to cause like a positive change. It's bound to influence other people who have gone through this thing to come out and speak against this atrocity, because it's 21st century and it's the year 2020. And if like rape is a big problem today, it's like a sad something for the society we are in, right? So it is time we make this change, we carry it forward.
Yes, and
Basically it's like if a
we need
man.
to realize that that movement is not only restricted to the streets, but also reaches inside people's home, so that it actually brings out a change. That yes, I can go on a street and I can say that yes, women want power. We should empower women. We should not discriminate against them. Blah blah blah. But it does not matter if you come home and again tell a woman to go to a kitchen and start doing the chores while the man will go and do a job. So it
Right.
does not matter. What matters is that that moment comes goes from the streets to the people's homes, and that is what matters. And that is where our role comes into place, that since we interact with people personally, we know what is going on. If we see such kind of things, we should like tell them that just look, there's such a big moment going on. Why can't you inspire such kind of a small moment in your own home and tell them more about these things? Because we as literate people know about all of the opportunities that there are out there for women. Other people don't. So we that is where our part comes in. We need to go out there and create awareness amongst people's homes, and not only on the streets or in the parliamentary
Right. And
houses.
we need to take it on ourselves, like we want to influence at least one individual in the best manner we can, like let's take like two,
Exactly.
three, four, like as many as we can, but at least one person, because let's say,
Yes.
like if a man like is raping a woman and they can like ruin her whole world and things like that, then why one woman cannot change it? Why one woman cannot come forward and create a positive difference? So change
And
begins
since
with
you
us.
talked
We
about
can.
rape, like, and
Right.
you'd said that destroy her world, that is what I believe we need to talk about more. That
Yes, we need
if
to have a
you are
conversation
in
which
such
make
kind
us
of
uncomfortable.
conditions, your life is not over, because women are saying that it is very difficult. And this is actually a dialogue of a victim, and she said that I swam 120 miles in the ocean. I have climbed the biggest peaks. I have run ultra marathons and everything. But the most difficult thing for me was to come out and say that yes, I was in such kind of a situation, because I believe that if I kept on denying it, it won't be true anymore. So we need to go out there and tell women that it is okay that you are
Right.
in a kind of situation, but it is not okay if you're not sharing it with anyone, because if you don't, you cannot be helped. And to be empowered, you need to come out and say what you have gone through. It is okay not to be okay, but it is not okay to share that you're not okay. We need to
Right.
spread that message as far as possible, so that the rate of change can increase dramatically.
So we basically need to have like uncomfortable conversations. We need to have conversations we don't want to have. We need to
Yes.
bring the issues in the front light. The ones we want to shove behind us and not talk about and things like that. Because through these uncomfortable conversations, through these hardships, through these difficulties, through movements, through activism, is where we can reach where our goal is, where we can have a world which is equal for a boy, for a girl,
Yes.
just by
And that
watching
is what
everything is.
our aim as peace ambassadors should be, to transform those uncomfortable conversations to comfortable ones, so that the internal peace of an individual is not harmed by any way, and that internal peace is reflected out by the aura of the person. That is what our motive as peace ambassadors should be, because if a person is not internally at peace, it will come out as external aggression, anxiety, depression, violence, and what other forms of communication. We need to take those uncomfortable conversations and turn them into comfortable ones, so that we can put a person internally at peace, so that this just kind of displayed, and the person can take the message forward into the society. So it will be like a domino effect that we need to create in our society. And since Global Peace Institute is having ambassadors from all over the world, I believe that if each one of us take this mission into our hands and turn it into reality, that domino effect will help change the society dramatically and at a very fast rate.
Right. So, like we realize that today there are bad things happening, but we need to also realize that there are good things happening. Because for
Yes,
myself, I've discovered that this world is more open than what it has ever been. It is resourceful. So, all we need is we need to teach our girls that be unafraid to learn, unlearn, and relearn. There will be times when you'll be right. There will be times when you will be wrong. But, like through all those situations, there will never be a time when you cannot learn something meaningful from everything that's happening around you. So let's embody the values
exactly.
we believe in. Let's believe in love, positivity, and let's believe in peace, because universe has a way of reciprocating in abundance all the positive energy that we put out there.
Yes, exactly. And that is what we need to spread the message of, that peace and love is something that is not impossible, that is something that is not unreal. It can be achievable, and there are places where it has been achieved. Like there are countries without any weapons, without any armies, and they're living in a perfectly harmonious way. We need to realize that that is achievable, because it is only then that we will actually work into making it a reality. Because if people do not believe that yes, peace is something that can exist in our societies, then there's no you they won't be working towards the goal with the determination that they should. So I think we should wrap up the session
Yes.
here,
So thank you so
and
much
we are
for
so thankful.
yes.
Thank you so much for joining here into the session and tuning in. And we hope that this has been an informative one. And we hope that we have been able to convey some kind of message into your lives. And thank you so much for tuning in. Let's just
So
spread the message of peace into the world.
yes. So thank you so much for joining us today. Let's together interact so that we can inspire, interrelate, and intervene in these goals issue through this series of conversation from different goals from different parts of the world. So stay tuned, because it's not a one-day episode. It's a series that's going to continue as long as it can. So thank you so much
And you
for
will
joining
be
us
meeting
today.
very interesting individuals from around the globe from different perspectives. So, the more you tune in, the more kind of informed you will get, and it will be more effective in bringing about the change that we are determined to do so.
Thank you.
Thank you.